Okay, so LCC, pretty much the same type of thing we've just done above. So I'm just going to sort of go through this and then go to the answer so we can discuss the 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 written bits. But the principle is the same, and we want to catch all the costs over the entire process. And so again, in year one, we have 500,000, right, in terms of research. And in marketing and admin, I'm going to add all these together. So add the 450 plus the 750 plus the 800 plus the 350. And very quickly, I'll just do that. Plus the 750 plus the 800 plus the 350. And that's 2.3 million. So that's 350. And then the total variable production cost, of course, again, will be this 28 times 200,000 plus 25 times 250,000 plus 20 times 200,000. So let me try this time and see if I get this right. So 28 times 28 times 200,000 is 5.6 million. So I have 5.6 million. And then I have 25 times 250,000. That's 6.25 million, and then I have 20 times 100,000, and that's 2 million. So 5.6 plus 6.25 plus 2 is 13.85 million. So I have here 13.85 million. Then I have fixed production costs of all of these. So that's 500 and 400, so that's 900,000. And then I have my total variable costs here, which is the 18 times that, and then the 16 times that, and the 18 times that. And so let's do that. So the 18 times the 200,000 is 3.6 million. And then you have the 250,000 times 16, which is 4 million. And then you have the 18 times the 100,000, which is 1.8 million. So this time 3.6 plus 4 plus 1.8 is 9.4. So I have 9.4 million. And then I have my fixed sales, which is all of this together. That's 450,000. So let's look at that and see how I did this time with my additioning. And what do we have here? So I have 500,000. Fine, great stuff. 2.35, yes, and that's working. Big question. 13, yay, 8.85. Got that right this time. 900,000, yes, got that right. 9.4, got that right. And 450,000, and I got that right. So question here is add it all together, and you will get the 27.45, 450,000. And then now that I have all this, I need to just get all my units. So I produced this number of units. So that's 300 plus 250. That's 550,000 units, isn't it? 550,000 units. So you have 49.91. So the question goes on to ask how costs can switch between variable and fixed during the different stages. And I think we highlighted that when you start producing your your product, you're still learning. You have initial production, if you like, so your costs are still sort of high. Now, once you get into your growth process, well, once you're coming out of growth and you're coming into maturity, that's really the point here. At maturity, you now understand the product. You're able to bulk buy. You are working faster. So you are saving. You have economies of scale with maturity. Yes. But then when you come into decline, the problem, so really think of it like this. You have your costs, if you like, kind of going through a sort of situation where your costs are increasing, and then they start to sort of decrease. So So here we are. Here is your introduction and growth. So because you're making more units, so here you are in maturity. But then people start getting tired and bored, and you have to start paying overtime, and your costs start going up again in decline, as opposed to your revenue, which, of course, your revenue, of course, is going up, of course. But then as you get more and more into the process to keep selling, you have to keep dropping the price with every extra unit. So at some point, you have to stop, or you have to the costs will outweigh your revenue. And so this is where you really should stop making this product technically from a financial point of view. But there are other decisions, as we've seen in earlier chapters. That's sort of the key point. And then when we talk about the ethical considerations, of course, that we talked about, I think the earlier question talked about decommissioning costs or cleanup costs right at the end. We also have to consider we can also consider the there's so much about recycling, and there's so much about value adding. So even right at the introductory process, or sorry, even at R&D, we want to be using, if you like, products that are biodegradable. We want to limit the amount of input of products, of components and raw materials into the process, minimizing it to what we need and what is biodegradable and what can be recycled. So let's look at some of the thoughts they have on this matter. So the thing here, like I said here, is that during the growth phase, production is variable and will increase with production. But in maturity, economies of scale is the point here. You have learning effects, and that remains fairly constant regardless of the production levels. And then once you move into decline, um, economies of scale is lost, but you're really having other costs over time, and defects, because people are just not excited in terms of production workers in saving and these efficiencies. You start to lose all of that um, over time. Um, and then, of course, I talked earlier on about cleanup, decommissioning, and design. So really, it's about the end, decommissioning and design, the beginning and the end, trying to be as, if you like, clear about what is actually adding value adding exercises, to make sure you're not just um, putting in costs that you don't really need, if you like. Okay, great stuff.